As somebody deep in the indie game world, I have been hearing people preaching the absolute gospel about Balatro since it was released, but I never really took the time to check it out. I won't do a deep dive on the gameplay, but just in case you're watching this from another one of my videos or haven't played it yet, Balatro is essentially poker, but with a deck you can modify during your run using the money you win, and with joker cards that can modify your score and do all sorts of other crazy stuff. The game obviously relies a lot on chance, and the fun and addictiveness of it comes from stacking those odds in your favor throughout the run. For me, Balatro is addicting because the potential for a synergizing build is extremely exciting, and the first time it happened for me and I was hitting those insane numbers and beat the game, I knew exactly why people have been talking about it non-stop for the entire year.
I never really have problems with addictions, but roguelikes, those really get me.
The rest of this video is about two things: the sound design and the absolutely grooving music. There's so many insane covers of the Balatro music, and they are all incredible. I want to specifically shout out Dom Palambi. His covers are phenomenal. I have this headcanon of the physical Balatro machine being in some weird, cursed, and liminal space, something you'd encounter in a dream or a hallucination or in some type of Donnie Darko-esque purgatory, and to me there's three reasons that the Balatro music contributes towards that image. There's very little variation between all the different songs, and hearing the same thing over and over and over again is an easy way to give off some insane lunatic vibes. As I was doing research for this video, I saw a decent amount of criticism about the fact that there was only like one song in the whole game, and I think that that's fair, but I want to think that it's coming from more of a place of, oh, this music is so good and I wish we had more of it. You know, if it is something that bothers you, there's also mod packs that you can get that can include more music, I believe. Or if you're like me and you're doing audio stuff normally, I just turn the music off, even though I do love it, but it's nice to be able to turn it off and have the game sit in the background, you know? The music is in 7/8, which is an extremely uncommon time signature. It has the effect of feeling unpredictable since we're so used to counting that extra beat in Western 4/4 music. Fun fact, the Game of the Year version is actually 4/4, not 7/8. I'm unsure why. Maybe it would have messed with the rest of the medley. I haven't played big band stuff since I was in high school, so I don't really know. The music is pitched down to 0.7 from the original composition. This degrades the audio quality and helps it feel more vintage, reinforcing the derelict vibes I was mentioning earlier. Now, you may have also noticed that the numbers 7 and 8 are coming up a lot, and I don't think that that's by chance. In poker, those numbers are considered lucky or optimal, and considering the creativity of the developer Local Thunk, I entirely assume that this was intentional and something of a hidden Easter egg for nerds like us to find. The sound design in Balatro is extremely well done, and I think it's a great example, especially in comparison to my Deadlock videos, about how a game doesn't necessarily need to have insanely clever connections between gameplay and game audio to sound exceptionally good. For most of the generic neutral sounds, you could find stuff like this in any Foley pack, but for the positive and negative reinforcement sounds, a lot of them are made with vintage synths that sound nice and old, so I want to show how we can process audio to get that sort of sound out of something clean and modern. There's a few different ways that you can go about this. We saw earlier with the music that although it technically gets reduced in quality when the sample rate is lowered, the subjective vibe increase is worth it. And this general idea is why people still attempt to emulate the effect of running audio through vintage equipment in the modern digital era.
Old gear. There's just something magical about it. The imperfections and flaws provide character and warmth often missing in today's cold digital world.
The desire of vintage-sounding audio is so common that in addition to plugins like the RC20 that are specifically designed to achieve that sound, many different plugins have an option or two to do so as well. The vintage sound, at its most basic, is due to the limitations of that equipment before digital audio, and emulating those machines is big business nowadays. The process of creating a plugin emulation of one of those hardware units is extremely complex, but to simplify it, the end result is generally 4 things which you can do with any audio software. Reduced top end, subtle distortion, rounded transients, and added noise. High-quality hardware units had less of these quote-unquote problems, but between the hardware being used to create music imparting those qualities and the common physical playback mediums of vinyl and tape imparting an additional round of vintage processing, we as a society have come to favorably associate that sound with the music of that era, a fact which games like Balatro take advantage of. And if you are a developer looking for a sound person for your game, or a musician looking for an audio engineer for your music, I'd absolutely love to chat and see if I'd be a good fit. My portfolio and more info about me is on my website, linked in the description. Thank you.